Hi, and welcome back to my channel. In today's video, I'm going to be showing you how to make 3 simple DIY ornaments from the dollar store. The first one is a snow globe, the second one is a Mickey Mouse or Minnie Mouse ornament, and the last one is a snow globe for an ultrasound picture. What you'll need is a foam board, 2 different size ball ornaments, try to get them the same color, mason jar ornament, a clear ball ornament, ribbon, fake snow, a few tools. All you really need though is scissors, a box cutter, and a foam brush, hot glue gun, Mod Podge, the pictures that you're going to want to use for the ornaments, and mini trees. The first ornament is going to be a 3D snow globe. The first thing you're going to do is you're going to cut the foam board to fit the picture that you're using, and you're going to cut around the picture so it's just the people in it, and you're going to use your foam brush and your Mod Podge, and you're just going to use that as your glue. The first thing that I like to do is make sure that the picture fits inside of the ornament. You want to make sure that the sides go in really easily, that there's enough room at the bottom so that the picture will fit without getting crushed or bent. Now, I'm not sure that every Dollar Tree carries these specific ornaments that I'm using. However, I do know if you go online, you will most likely find them and you can buy them in bulk, and it usually comes between 25 to 30 ornaments in a case. And again, this is a really good idea. You can use this if you have family coming over for the holidays. Everyone can make their own ornament and take it home as a souvenir. Make sure to cover the entire back part of the picture with a good amount of Mod Podge just to make sure that it sticks and it doesn't come off inside of the snow globe. I know that my store carries Mod Podge. It just comes in a smaller container, just less amount at the Dollar Tree. However, if your store does not carry it, you can just use regular glue and it works just as good. Make sure to add pressure to the whole picture just to make sure that it stays flat, because sometimes when you get pictures printed, they kind of have like a little bend to them. So you want to make sure that it is completely flat on the foam board. I'm going to put a piece of wood underneath just to cut so I don't mess up my table. And I'm also using a box cutter, but if you do not have a box cutter and you have an X-Acto knife or even a pair of scissors, that works fine. Just have to be a little more careful because the foam board is a little thick. I'm just going over it multiple times just to make sure that I'm cutting it completely, because when I did a previous one I did kind of mess up the foam board a little bit. But if you just have to be extra careful and try not to get a picture that has too many different cuts and turns and circles and stuff like that. Try to get something that's relatively one big shape or has not that many curves to it, and that would make the project a lot easier. For my pictures, I just got them wallet size from Walgreens and it was less than $1, and I had 4 in one. So if you have like grandparents or aunts and uncles that you're trying to make something for with your children's pictures in it, you'll get 4 pictures for under $1, and you can make the all of the ornaments for less than $5. Now make sure to keep all your little scrap pieces that you have left, because we can use them to glue the picture onto the top of the mason jar, and we can use those to make the trees go up a little bit, because if you don't want to glue them straight onto the cap, because then it kind of takes away a lot of the space. With this part is when you need your hot glue gun, and you're just going to glue about 3 pieces of foam board on top of each other just to raise the picture up a little bit. And again, it doesn't have to be nice and neat, it doesn't have to be perfectly cut because they're going to be covered with the fake snow. You just got to make sure that it is high enough for your picture to be seen inside of the jar. I will most likely get questions about my hot glue gun. I got this from Hobby Lobby. It was $7.99, and if you use their 40% off coupon, you can get it for much cheaper. And it is cordless. You have to plug it in to keep it warm, but I was using it for the projects without having to re-plug it in, and it worked perfectly fine. I really enjoyed it. I tried finding it on their website, but I was not lucky enough to do so. Now, the little mini trees, again, I'm not sure if every single Dollar Tree or dollar store carries them. If yours does not, if you have a Hobby Lobby, a Michael's, or a Joann's by you, they sell them. They're not really expensive, and most of the time they have coupons that you can use, and you can probably find the little bags of them for under $1. And I'm doing the same thing that I did with the picture, using scrap pieces of foam board that I had left over to place the trees. And you can use them for different levels. You can make some higher and some lower. For mine, I was only able to fit 2 of the little Christmas trees that I bought. But if your Christmas trees are different, you can maybe fit more inside of the jar container. With previous ones that I made, I did have to change the little trees around quite a bit, even after gluing them. So don't be scared to glue them. Hot glue can be removed fairly easy if it's not like stuck on for too long, but I didn't have a trouble taking them off and putting them back on. Just have to make sure to remove the glue from the bottom so that they stay flat. Now the second to last step is adding your fake snow into the jar, and I just put them in a smaller container to make it easier and less of a mess. And I put quite a bit of snow, and again, this is something that you can try. If you put too much, you can take some off. If you don't put enough, you can add some more to it after the fact. That's why at the beginning it's very important that your picture fits perfect, because if it's too big, when you put it in and out, you will eventually mess it up if you don't get the right amount the first time that you do it. Now the final step is adding the ribbon. I don't like the little piece of string that comes with them, so I just use ribbon. And a little tip that helps me out a lot and it makes it look a lot neater is if you kind of burn the tips a little bit, it cinches it together so it doesn't come apart. It also makes it easier to feed through the holes on the ornaments. I just did a simple knot at the top, but you can get fancy and make bows or whatever kind of, knot you want at the end. I just did a simple one. And the last piece of ribbon goes around the bottom just to make it look more complete, more finished, and more put together. And that is the final look of the ornament. And it took less than 10 minutes to create. The next ornament is an ultrasound snow globe. For this ornament, you're going to need the largest clear ball ornament that they sell at the dollar store. And I like the bigger one because first, you don't have to cut off as much of the ultrasound picture. And secondly, I always like to put a little note if I'm giving it to a friend to make sure for them to save the baby's hospital band, the dad's hospital band, and the mom's hospital band. And they can add that to the end after the baby is born. The end, you're going to want to get your ultrasound picture, and I like to cut all the white stuff off of it, but I do like to leave the little information at the top, like the date, the mom's name, and stuff like that, just because sometimes you forget what the date is or how old the baby was during that ultrasound, and that is just a good way to gauge it for whenever you're putting up your Christmas tree every year, you can remember. Another thing you can add to the ornament is the little card that they give you when the baby is born that says it's a boy, it's a girl, the date, the time that the baby was born. Now, I do like to use the ultrasound as a funnel to put the snow inside of the clear ball ornament, but you can obviously use a piece of paper if you don't feel comfortable with it. And again, this one, you can add as much as you want, as little as you want. It's really completely up to you. You can also add glitter to it. You can add pearl beads if it's a little girl. You can add blue little snowflakes if it's a boy, and they sell all those things at the dollar store. The next step is obviously adding the ultrasound picture, and you want to roll it, I wouldn't say inside out. I hope that makes sense. But just like in the video, just to make sure that when it opens up inside of the ornament, you guys can obviously see the ultrasound picture. Another thing that I like about the larger ornament is that you can stick your fingers or a pen or a pencil in there to open up the ultrasound picture to make it fit nice and neat inside of the snow globe. Now, I did the same thing that I did with the other ornament. I just try to make a simple knot at the top. However, this time I did not burn the ends first, and I had a really hard time sticking the ribbon in. So I just finally gave up, and I decided to burn the ends before I put it together, just to make it a lot easier. And you'll see in the video how much faster I can actually put the ribbon through and make a knot. And there's the completed ultrasound snow globe. And again, you can always add the hospital bands and the little card that the hospital gives you. Final dollar store ornament is this Mickey Mouse ornament, or you can also make it a Minnie Mouse by simply adding a ribbon bow. So this is what it looks like. And something that I can say, if you have a Cricut machine or you have really nice handwriting, you know somebody who has nice handwriting, they can actually write the name of the family, or if you're giving it to a specific kid, if you want each kid to have their own, you can just write their name on the face of the Mickey Mouse. But let's get started with the ornament. What you're going to need is you're going to need a medium-sized ornament, and you're going to need two small little ornaments, and I thought it would be cute to add the glitter part. Now the first thing you're going to do is you're going to take off the little plastic tubing part that holds the ornament together onto the tree, and those come off very simple. Then you're going to grab your scissors and you want to just cut off the little end part because you want it to be completely flat on the medium-sized ornament, just so that it looks nice and neat. And it comes off pretty easily. I didn't really have a hard time, and I made 3 or 4 of these, and I didn't crack one of them using the scissors. Just going to make sure that you're taking your time and doing it slow. Now, in order for it to fit flat on the medium-sized ornament, I just used a nail file and I filed it down so that it was nice and even. Before you attach the ears, I suggest putting on the ribbon, and again I burn the ends just to make it easier to feed through, especially since the hole on the ball ornaments is extremely small. All I you do that makes it super easy is just roll the ribbon up as small as you can, and it should fit right through the ornament hole. And again, I just burned the other end to make sure that it was cinched together. And again, I just did a simple knot at the top. Now it's time to add the ears, and I put a very generous amount of hot glue on the part that is open, just because obviously you don't want that part to be shown. And you want to just try to eyeball it as best as you can to make sure that it looks like Mickey Mouse or Minnie Mouse. If you want to make Minnie Mouse, I have a video on how I make bows with ribbon, and I'll have that link down below if you are interested. But just make sure that you're holding it into place just to make sure that it sticks really nice and neat. And there you have your Mickey Mouse ornament. Thank you so much for watching. Make sure to comment, rate, and subscribe.